Welcome to Stockholm, capital city of Sweden. Apart from being a large city with an active cultural life and the country's capital, it houses many national cultural institutions. This city is a former European city of culture. It has dramatic history stretching back many centuries. The stadium here, the Olympic Stadium, built in 1912, will be refurbished next year at the cost of $10 million. Welcome to the DN Gallon meeting here in the Stockholm Olympic Stadium, once again to Samsung Diamond League Athletics. The league offers the very best, and Olympic, world and European champions are here. There's the temperature, 19. It feels a little warmer than that, but the humidity is high at 69. And tonight, the biggest 100-meter race since the World Championship final, Usain Bolt versus Tyson Gay. They meet for only the third time in their careers. It doesn't get any better than that. That final at 8:57 local time. There are 13 events in the program, and I referred back to that stadium. There are 83 world records over the years have been set here, and it really promises to be a great evening. The conditions absolutely perfect. The first event on the track will be the 400 meters for women. Tim Hutchings.
Thank you, Stuart. Yes, there's the lineup, and what a lineup it is. This one very strong indeed. Look out in particular for Tatiana Firova in lane 6. She is the newly crowned European champion from Russia. And number 50 seconds last week in Barcelona. There's Natsarova. Two Russians who make it through to this. Natsarova, number 6 in Russia this year, that's all. But a former world champion back in 1999. Took gold at the age of 20. She's only 31 now. Antonina Krivoshatka of Russia goes in lane 2. Another sub-50-second Russian, but outside 50 this year. The European Championship bronze medalist, however. There's Amantli Monchot. What a lovely season she's had. Wins in Oslo and New York, second places in Doha and Eugene. A really good Diamond League season from the Botswanan in lane 3. Sherika Williams goes in lane 4. The Jamaican is the silver medalist from the World Championships last year and took the silver in Beijing 1 year earlier at the Olympic Games to boot. She too in very good form. Debbie Dunn goes in lane 5. The American, well, the world number 1 this year with 49.64. That's in winning the US Championships some 6 or 7 weeks ago. Tatiana Firova, there she is, the European champion. This is her 15th 400 of the season, not counting relay legs. She's had a busy old 2010, but still in great form. In lane 7, Novelyn Williams-Mills of Jamaica, just outside 50 seconds this year. That was for a 3rd place in Lausanne, exactly a month ago today. And Francina McCrory completes the lineup from the USA, the slowest in the race and the youngest in the race. But hasn't raced a 400 since those US Championships in late June. There is Sherika Williams, world number 5 this year, just outside 50 seconds. Indeed, only 3 women this year have broken 50 seconds. Barrier proving pretty elusive in 2010. She has 4 World Championship silvers, does Sherika Williams. Debbie Dunn, well, broke 50 seconds for the first time in the US Championships back in late June, and then again in Lausanne in early July. She won those US Championships fairly comfortably and in very good form too. Good consistent performer is Debbie Dunn. She goes in 5. Most recently wins in Lausanne and a 2nd in Gateshead. So Natsarova in 1, Krivoshatka in 2, the 2 Russians. Monchot of Botswana 3, Sherika Williams in 4, Debbie Dunn USA 5, Firova the European champion in 6 for Russia, Williams-Mills Jamaica 7, McCrory in lane 8.
Set.
Well, what can the European champion Firova here do against the best of the Americans and the Jamaicans? She goes in lane 6, 3rd from left. Firova's gone off fairly slowly. Inside of Debbie Dunn has certainly made up a little ground already. Also going very well there on the outside in lane 7 is Novelyn Williams-Mills. She's making up ground on McCrory as you'd expect, but inside there, Monchot in lane 3. The tall figure moving along well, and also outside her, Debbie Dunn now. But Monchot it is who leads at the moment. These 3 abreast round the crown of the bend. The stagger yet to unwind. Firova with quite a bit of work to do here because the 3 athletes inside her are well up on her. And they come into the straight, and it's Monchot, the most consistent, who won the African Championships just last week. in lane 3 leads. Coming back at them now is Firova. This is a strong finish from the Russian on the outside, and she's going to take it. She throws it back at the rest of the world. The European champion in marvellous form, and just inside her, Debbie Dunn coming through too for a late second place, I think. 50.47. Well, her form in Barcelona was anything but a fluke. It was where she broke 50 seconds for the first time ever. She's the second fastest in the world this year, and what a last 100 she ran, third to left.
Well, it was an even-paced 400 metres for Firova. Certainly Moncho, Botswanian, who really goes out very strongly, as we saw, tied up dramatically in the final stages to let Debbie Dunn come through on her as well. Right on the outside, McCrory came through very strongly. But Firova, as Tim was saying, she's got a couple of world indoor silver medals to her credit. That was this year, and then to win the outdoor title. Personal best inside 50 seconds, and it showed.
Well, very satisfying that, seeing a European champion turn back the best of the rest of the world. 50.46 the winning time confirmed there.
Well, yesterday the shot put moved downtown in Stockholm to King's Garden, and a very, very good competition indeed. Corey Martin of the United States took the third place with a fifth round throw of 20 meters and 73. Big crowd. One of the features, similar to the Manchester City Games that we've seen in the United Kingdom, many of the world's athletes attended those, and that was a very, very good throw, 20 meters and 73. The Olympic champion, Tomasz Majewski of Poland, took second place. His throw just over 21 meters, and that was his fifth round throw as well. He'd had a 20.99, a 20.86, and a 20.72. He's a really big fella, and in contrast to the rest, he's got the linear technique. Now this fella, Christian Cantwell, totally and utterly unbeaten this season. He's a big man, he's fast, and that was over 22 meters. 22 meters and 9, it was a meeting record. Took Udo Bayer's record, remember him, the East German, back in 1986. And that record has now gone at 22 meters and 9 to Christian Cantwell. The American #1, the world #1. There it is. Cantwell, Majewski, and Martin. Reese Hoffer, look at the field, how strong that was with Armstrong, the Canadian there as well. And there are the points, 20 points. Christian Cantwell heading for the diamond, heading for the win over the 7 events of this Diamond League program.
Well, the celebrations of Fira over there are well justified. 50.46 from the Russian to beat Debbie Dunn and McCrory, the two Americans in second and third. Good run that from McCrory, certainly beating Sherika Williams and Monchot and Noveline Williams. And well, when the Diamond League points are dished out, Firova, Dunn, McCrory, 4-2-1 each. And the overall totals therefore put Alison Felix out in front, ahead of Monchot, that on win-loss record. Sherika Williams in third place.
Well, the long jump took place earlier on in this stadium, and Gomez in third place overall. Gomez really struggled, and in fact it was right at the very end of the competition. She came through with that 6.72, 6.62 until then. Brittany Reese has been pretty dominant the last weeks, one in Lausanne, one in Paris, a 7-meter jumper. Had one good jump and 3 no jumps overall. A white flag indicating a jump at 6 meters and 75. Not her day. But Daria Klishina of Russia is only 19, 5th in the World Indoor Championships earlier on this season, just to give you a statistic on her, but she has got a personal best of 7 meters and 3. That's a national junior record, a Russian national junior record. A little bit of backward rotation there, but still 6 meters and 78 was good enough to win. Well, there it is, 6.78 for Klishina, then Brittany Reese and Nadia Gomez, 6.72 in third place. I'll have a look and see what that does to the score. Oh, there's the Romanian Carolina Kluft, finding a life pretty difficult, actually, in the long jump. world Olympic champion at heptathlon, of course. Very, very talented, and at home in front of a home crowd here. Well, there's the lineup for the 800 meters. Simmons, Wheating, Manzano, Michael Rimmer, Wandowski. So you've got the two European top medalists there. Kamel, Lang, Kevuna, Kaki. Let's watch out for him, the Sudanese. Yego, and it'll be paced by Davis Robinson, who will take on that pace from the outside. And we shall see here, but looking at the start lineup, Kaki must be the favorite. And this crowd very knowledgeable. Youssef Kamal, Bahrain, 1:42.79 he ran in 2008. Formerly Gregory Concella, a famous dad. And, hasn't run much this season, been injured, I'm told, and ran in the mile in Eugene but didn't finish. Lewandowski, there's the European champion, drawn in the fourth lane. Just waiting to see. So we've got Simmons and Wheating, two Americans, then Mazzano, another American, the third American. Wheating, tall figure on the left of your shot now. And Kaki right out in the seventh lane, just inside David Robinson, the pacemaker. There's Michael Rimmer on the right, but this is the European champion, Lewandowski. Already mentioned Yusuf Said Kamel, Bahrain. That's Kaki. Kaki is the favorite for me. Yego, Alfred Kewe Yego, the 800-meter world champion in 2007, got a silver in Berlin last year. And here's the man with the job of pacing this.
On your marks. Stand up.
So the men's 800 meters. I just wonder how Kaki will run this. When I first saw him in the World Indoor Championships a few seasons ago, he ran it from the front. That's his tactic. Will he do it here? Well, they've asked for 50 seconds for the first 400 meters. There have been an awful lot of very, very quick races this season already. And I see that Robinson's going to have to shift to get right up to Kaki, and goes past him. And Lewandowski, the European champion, already making his presence felt. Yego in the orange strip. There's Robinson finally getting into the control position. With the first 200 meters gone. It looks as though it's a pretty quick one, Tim.
It does indeed, yes. Beautiful conditions, Stuart. 19 degrees, absolutely perfect. Windless evening here in the Olympic Stadium. And every reason to believe these men can run fast. If the likes of Rimmer and Lewandowski can shake off the fatigue of last week at the European Championships, I'd like to see them really mix it here with the best of the Africans, although certainly Kaki on paper is a class apart as they come to 400 metres, and it is pretty quick. That's good pacemaking.
Yes, indeed. Kaki is leading the trailing group. Also there is Lalang. Boaz Lalang, the Kenyan. He's a 1:43 man too. So he's in the second place in the race proper at the moment, and Lewandowski's come through on the inside. They've allowed him through. There was a little bit of a gap opened up. Michael Rimmer's in about sixth place at the moment. And now the pacemaker's gone and the race is on, and Lewandowski, the European champion, has taken this on. The confidence that comes from running a championship record or championship performance in Barcelona. Kevuna coming fast on him, Lang on the near side. Lewandowski, Kevuna's coming very strongly as well. Well, look at this, Lewandowski. Lewandowski's going to take it. Justin Rimmer in second place. What a finish by Rimmer. Kaki lost a shoe, incidentally, but what a good run once again by the two Europeans. And Rimmer hardly got a mention until the final stages, but what a very fast last 200 or 300 meters. 1:45.09. The first 400 metres was about right, and as they came off the final bend, well, look at this.
Well, Lewandowski, very, very confident after his win last week, and he's won a relatively slow race there. Rimmer coming back at him so strongly, almost a replay that of the European Championships. The Pole and the Briton 1-2, the Africans behind them. Kaki stumbling off the track there at the top of the bend with about 150, 170 to go. I think must have got his heel clipped, but even the fast finishing American there coming through, Simmons, couldn't stay with the two Europeans who are in such fine fettle. Really good to see.
Well, Lewandowski, I mean, to come off a major championship and to beat the people that he beat here, including Kaki, who obviously had his problems, they were closing down in the final stages. Let's have a look at the final stages of this. Kavuna, good junior, came through to the World Championships. He was 9th in the World Championships. There's Kaki losing the shoe and moving away. The favourite's gone. And Lewandowski showing some real strength. He's got a best this season of 143.84 in Monaco. But Michael Rimmer, a lot of credit, a good tactical brain for Michael Rimmer. Just can't quite beat this fella, though. Good race.
Stuart, I'm just looking at Kaki. He's just walked down the length of the home straight and crossed the line in front of us. I can't see that he's got any cut or anything. I don't think he was clipped. It might have been his heel was clipped from behind. It was very unclear in that those shots.
Well, just earlier on this evening, the heats for the 100 metres. I mentioned in the introduction that there was to be a final at 8:57. Well, in heat 1, Usain Bolt, the big fella in lane 4 here, didn't get away particularly well. Richard Thompson in lane 3 did, and it took an awful lot from Bolt to close him down in the end into a slight headwind, 10.09. Not much you could tell from that, but Bolt has been out with injury and, of course, needs races. And I think that it'll be a better final because of that race. There is his time, 10.10. Thompson the same time with Rogers, 10.22 in third. So those three go through by right. The second heat, well, there was the lineup for the second heat, and this featured Tyson Gay. And Gay in the red strip in the 4th lane. Now, this was a very different approach. Gay was eyeballs out in this. He really went for it. And Kimmons, on his right, really made him go for it too. But in the end, Gay's speed endurance prevailed. Kimmons and Forsyth, the two going through with him to the final. And that final at 8:57 later on. Gay looks comfortable, although it was a totally different qualification to the qualification which we saw from Usain Bolt. Not much to be gained from that. 10.02, 10.11, 10.23. They're the 3 to go through.
Well, Lewandowski there, heavily muscled Pole, who has come on in leaps and bounds this summer. Very consistent season he's had too. That's just reward for a lot of hard work and perfect peaking at those European Championships for the 800-metre man. It was indeed a win for Lewandowski, 1:45.06 to Mike Rimmer, 1:45.11, the same as in Barcelona. Kivuna in third, 1:45.28. And the points, of course, 4-2-1 for the first 3 in that race, Lewandowski, Rimmer and Kivuna. There it is. And in the overall standings, well, there'll be points dished out to those 3, although they won't feature necessarily near the top. Lewandowski, they're in 4th place with 5 points. Rudisha, they're way out in front with those 12 to Mlautzi's 8.
Well, interesting, Tim. The first 2 events have gone to European champions.
Just shows how well they have peaked for those games or those championships in the Olympic Stadium in Barcelona last week. There's the athletes on the far side of the track for this next event, the women's 3,000 metre steeplechase. 14 athletes in the lineup. They are going for a quick time here tonight, something close to 9 minutes. Madria Hyman of Jamaica will be the pacemaker, but this is indeed a strong field. We have Chemos Chewa of Kenya here, the World Championship bronze medalist last year, recently won the African Championships just last week in 9:32, and that in the altitude of Nairobi. Look out too for Zarodnyeva of Russia, the European champion, just 24 years old. Zarodnyeva won the European Team Championship back in June. Failed to finish in Eugene since then, but obviously in fine form last week. Grovdal goes for Norway in this one, the 20-year-old. Great junior star. struggling to really find her feet as a senior, but she's having a busy season of racing. There's Chewa, third to left. She, the athlete to watch. Look out too for Kip Kemboy, the world number 2 this year, with 9:13. Chewa's world leading performance, 9:11, was set in Rome just ahead of Kip Kemboy. Rotich as well, a name to be watched, the world number 5 this year. There's Zarodnieva, Julia Zarodnieva. Set a season's best of 9:17 to win those European Championships. Zarodnieva, very, very strong performance from the Russian, who had a real ding-dong with the Spaniard Marta Dominguez. Denied the Spaniard gold in front of her home crowd. Well, away they go then. We're looking for the first kilometre in around 3 minutes 3:02, we're led to believe, if that's what Hyman can take them round at. Well, Zarodnieva has gone out very early, as if to challenge the Russians here. The world record, remember, 8:58 by another Russian, Samitova Galkina. That was to win the Olympic title in Beijing, but 8 minutes not approached this year. Indeed, the world's best, some 12 or 13 seconds slower. What can Zarodnieva do here to mix it with these best Africans? Kip Kemboy, Chemos Chewa. It'll be a fascinating evening to continue here with 2 European wins already, Stuart.
Yeah, well, you've got the first 4 from the African Championships that were taking place at the same time as the European Championships in Barcelona, at altitude in Nairobi. And of course, Chewa, you've mentioned already, won that African title. Ran a 9:8:57 in the World Championships in Berlin. Hyman has got the job of taking them around, as you've said. She's now 37. She's often a pacemaker at this level. Well, the high jump is in progress too. Chantillo, who actually went and long jumped earlier on, incidentally, to try and score some points. She's a 690 jumper in long jump. She's pretty good all round. The American Championships who achieved that. Attempting now 1:94 the first time. No one clear at this height thus far. Vlasic has had 2 clearances, one at 185 and one at 190, so she would be next to jump. Ooh, just clipped it. She's had a very good season, actually, Lowe. She's set a new American record at 2:05, winning the United States National Championships this year. Lots of confidence coming from... She's been second, really, right throughout this Diamond League series, behind Blanka Vlasic. So Vlasic will have seen that.
Well, they continue on, just a couple of laps gone in this women's steeplechase. Zarodnieva there, the European champion from Russia, very much to the fore, towers over the Africans around her. The quickest race this year was in Rome, of course, where both Chewa and Kip Kemboy set those very quick times. But interesting that Marta Dominguez and Zarodnieva are 3rd and 4th on the year's list. It's still a developing event, the women's steeplechase. Not the same strength and depth as, let's say, 800 or 1,500 metres on the world scene.
Well, we promised you Blanka Vlasic, and here she is. She's seen Chantillo fail at this height at 194, the European champion, in championship winning form again recently. Not just a clearance, that was a significant clearance, wasn't it? That was way, big striding, lolloping approach, good driving inside knee that gives that beautiful arch and clearance of the bar. So that's the lead thus far. Early days, though.
Well, they went through the first kilometre a little out of schedule, outside of schedule. The pacemaking by Hyman a little awry. It was 3:04.4 at 1 kilometre. They were looking for around 3:01, 3:02, remember. Now they need to push on, and this critical, this middle section of the race. Also often we see the race is set up well with a quick first kilometre, and then it slackens in the middle. But if they can push on here with Zarodnieva there, very much make their presence felt amongst the Kenyans. It's Kip Kemboy who leads. They come into the straight. Zarodnieva Good flat speed too, Zaradnieva. The Russians make a point of ensuring that they're steeplechasers, with Rotich there in third place. Making sure of ensuring that steeplechasers have very good flat credentials too.
Emma Glenn, Sweden. Her attempt at 1.94 m. Just Blasic's clear. Well, that was a good clearance as well. Now, she's actually going quite well at the moment. Just looking at her performance in the European Championship, she got the silver medal with a personal best of 2:01, so she is in form. Took a couple of attempts at 1.90.
Well, Zaradnieva just moved through on the inside there, I think, feeling the pace was slackening a bit. And I don't know if the Russian, the European champion, is getting a little impatient with his pace, but certainly it didn't really pick up once the pacemaker, Margia Hyman, had dropped out. But this second kilometre, we're on up to 3:04. We're looking for something pretty similar at the second segment, the middle segment of this race. We're looking for about 6:08 at 2 kilometres. Obviously, their best parts of 300 metres or so away from that just yet. But these 6 athletes locked together very closely with the second group, about 50 metres down. And now they come down towards us, and they'll see 3 laps to go, and it's Chewa, the world #1, who leads through the line. Rotich in second place, who is in 5th on those world rankings. Rotich, 3rd in Shanghai, 3rd in Oslo, and 3rd in Rome in her 3 big Diamond League races so far this season. Indeed, 3rd place to boot in the African Championships just a week ago. From Rotich, she's in the blue, in second place at the moment. Chewa leading, and now begins to stretch out and lengthens the stride. And good to see Zaradnieva responding to this, moving down the inside again. A little risky that, because you can get a shunt onto the infield and risk twisting an ankle, and that's nobody's fault but your own if it does happen. But Rotich it is in 3rd place, right up alongside the tall Russian, 2003.11, so that kilometre a little outside of schedule. 6:16 at 2 kilometres. And that's a kilometre. That's 3:11. And that's disappointing, frankly, because it really has dawdled there through that middle section. We come round into the straight with just over 800 to run. And I just wonder whether or not they're playing into the Russians' hands here. Jaroge is there in 4th place. It's Zaradnieva on the inside from Chewa. Rotich in 3rd, Jaroge 4th, Kipkemoy 5th, and Asefa in 6th place there, the Ethiopian. Only 22, Asefa. Was on 9:19 this year. That was 2nd place in Oslo, where there was that quick race. But she too has had a busy season, Asefa. Bringing up the rear at the moment. And those two just becoming detached. Asefa just in front, just behind rather. The Kenyan in 5th place. Now, lap and a half to run. She must be fancying her chances here, Zaradnieva, because they haven't allowed this to, or haven't made it quick, which might have tested the Russian. Interesting that they've had a few days to recover since those European Championships last week. Some of those Europeans have had the best part of a week to refocus and recover. They'd have done very little hard training, middle distance runners, since the tiring exploits in the sweltering heat of that Barcelona Olympic Stadium. But Zaradnieva now with 500 metres to run into the straight. The time won't be quick. Don't worry about that. This is racing. On her shoulder, Chewa, the Kenyan, world #1. Just matching stride for stride. The Russian now. What a games they had last week. What a championships the Russians had to totally dominate the medal table ahead of France and the UK in Barcelona. I just wonder whether Zaradnieva could have shot them here. Chewa 2nd, Rotich 3rd. Asefa now has moved through into 4th. And here she goes, just striding away now. These 3 moving away quickly. Chewa in the purple on the outside, moves up alongside the Russian. Rotich in the blue has got some work to do yet now. The Russian's got great technique. She's taken a metre out of them at every barrier, and now they're moving at full speed. Look at that gap, 5 metres, 6 metres and going away. And this is very impressive indeed from Zaradnieva. Can she get this one right? She does. The Kenyans leap here without putting a foot on it. I don't know if that's best or not, but at the barriers in between, certainly the Russian Zaradnieva has got far superior hurdling technique. You can poo-poo it on the men's side when they're many, many seconds quicker than the best of the rest of the world, the Africans. But here, technique matters, and a quick last lap. The Russian here hands the Africans a good beating, 15 meters to the good there. It's Zarodnieva from Chewa. Rotic comes home in third, Asefa in fourth, 9:17.59. They're almost identical that time to a winning time in Barcelona last week from the Russian. Indeed, just 2/100ths of a second quicker.
I think you're right about the pace. It allowed her to stay in the race with the Africans. They didn't really push it hard enough in the mid part of this race. But you have to say Zarodnieva, the third European champion to win a race here against the Africans. Remember, the Africans coming down from altitude, all four, as I mentioned at the start, coming back from their championships. And that was a very, very good win indeed. Her best is 9:8:39, remember. Mustn't forget that. She is quick. And that was set in the World Championships in Berlin last year, Zarodnieva. So she's been in this territory before, so it was territory she knew. And obviously felt good and did go well. And her technique, as you said, Tim, is superb.
Well, what a night it's turning out for the Europeans. Another European win. Here is Zarodnieva there, 9:17 to take the best of the Africans. And I think that's only fair to mention too that not only are the Europeans tied, but the Africans are, as you mentioned, Stuart, from those championships in Nairobi.
Chantilaro making no mistake on occasion. Really hitting that one. Second time clearance at 1:94. So she's at a disadvantage. She's in third place behind Blanka Vlasic and Emma Gren. Good high jump competition in prospect. There's going to be a triple jump on here tonight as well, and once again the talent there for us all to see. We've got Girault, we've got Randy Lewis, we've got Betanzos, Capello, who's done very well. They've got the lineup as it is. Tozanoki, incidentally, now representing Nigeria, formerly with Britain, won the African Championship, 17 meters and 22 just recently. There's Adams and Kuznetsov. Capello, who's done well so far. Christian Olsen in front of his home crowd, of course.
So, Ebel Ljungmark then, third attempt at 1:94 for the Swede. She's certainly got a mentor, if one were needed. The figure of Emma Gren. Kaiser Bergqvist before that, of course. But Gren jumping out of her skin to go over 2 meters. With that silver medal last week. No, and it wasn't close. Would have been a big personal best. 1:92, her lifetime best, her season's best, only 1:90, but no shame in that. A second time clearance, 1:90, the best for Ljungmark.
Zarodnieva receiving the bouquet. What a good steeplechase that was for her. Coming back from a European gold medal and then taking on the Africans, the gold medalists in the African Championships, and all the medalists, in fact, and beating them well.
Well, Yulia Zarodnieva, the 9:17.59, almost 2 seconds to the good there, ahead of Chewa, the world #1 on paper, and Rotic of Kenya too in third place. Diamond League points in the overall standings. Chewa and Kemoi in first and second. Zarodnieva with 4 points from tonight. That's her sum total. But Chewa way out in front at the moment, as you can see.
Well, in this part of the world, the javelin is the event that they all come to see. But there's a sprinter they've all come to see here too. And you should have heard the cheers, as always, around the world when Usain Bolt appears. He's out in the training area. Tyson Gay with him, preparing to come in to do battle. For the third time. They've only met each other twice over 100 meters in the history of their careers. This fella, a double Olympic champion, Andreas Torkelsson. He's a 90-meter plus thrower, and holds a national record at 91.59, incidentally. That was back in 2006. There's a precision javelin here in this stadium too. It's a target thing. It's mainly for the crowd, actually. Not much interest for the athletics fans following a javelin, but that is not. They are the real McCoy. The caption at the top, of course, not particularly right. Pitkämäki, the former world champion, was there. Torkelson, De Zorgo, who's going well, the German at the moment. Another European silver medalist. Frederick, Czech Republic. The triple jump, we've mentioned that. And one athlete I didn't mention, there's the one we should have mentioned, it's Teddy Tamgo. He's here, 1798 in New York. Couldn't beat Philippe Sedou in Barcelona. In fact, really struggled. He tried very, very hard, but his technique all of a sudden went away. Capello won in Doha. This is him. Was third in Gateshead, second in Paris. He's been around a lot. And he's got a best of 17 meters and 65. Just looking at the computer showing us the event, it's coming towards the end of the first round here. Randy Lewis is leading with 1681. We may get a look at a recording of that sometime later. But Capello, very, very good athlete. And that is beyond 17 meters by the look of it. That's the white flag, as you've seen. Capello achieved his 1765 in Havana. That was last year. It's just short of the board too, so there's a lot more left in the tank. Beautiful rhythm, double arm shift and good leg shoot at the end. 17 meters and 15 centimeters, so that's the lead for Alex Capello. So he set the target for the rest. So Randy Lewis moves into second place, David Giralt into third. Oh, there you've got it, 1681 to 1674. Christian Olsen has been injured. One of the greats, and I say that because he's won a couple of world indoor titles, World Championship silver medalist, 2 European golds. He's a 1779 performer at his very best. He set that personal best and a national record when winning a gold medal in the Athens Olympics. Season's best, 1729. Very, very popular, as you would expect here. Oh, yes. Has he got the white flag? It's a very, very good start. There's the answer to that question. So he's got 17.15 to beat, on the board beautifully. Double arm shift again. Lovely hold on that middle phase there. Just holds that split position beautifully. Good range. 17 meters and 32. And that takes the lead.
Well, good to see Olsen back, of course. A lot of people are wondering why his injury kept him out of the European Championships last week, but he's able to jump here tonight. But it is one of the great events on the world scene at the moment, with Tamgo having come so close to 18 meters in New York, what, 6 weeks or so back. But then, as you say, Stuart, unable to deliver when it came to the really important meet of the entire year for him in Barcelona. Was well beaten by Philippe Sedou. No, and a little bit raw and untidy there, Tamgo, as well. Gets the white flag.
You know, when we looked at that jump in New York, it was so relaxed and rhythmic, and yet here he's working very, very hard. He's forcing it, almost a little hitch kick on the end of that jump. So he's just got to calm down a little bit and just concentrate. But 17.23, and that wasn't a particularly good jump, but he's taken second place from Capello. So we've got 3 17-meter jumps now. Well, there's the lineup for the men's 400-meter hurdles. Yates, Tinsley, Gordon, Jackson, Sanchez, Taylor, Coulson and Phillips. It's a very, very good field indeed. Richard Yates of Great Britain. Best of 49.06. That was set in 2008. 50.07 this season in the British National Championships. Difficult, there's a very tight bends here in Stockholm, so he's got a difficult lane. Michael Tinsley. Third in the American Championships recently. Here Gordon, Trinidad. He's only 18, a personal best of 48.26 last season. World Junior Champion. Sean Jackson of the United States. He's won 3 out of the 4 thus far. Kieran Clement isn't here, but Felix Sanchez is. He's back in Paris in 2003, 47.25. He's inside Angelo Taylor, the American. Taylor, double Olympic champion. Now Coulson's very useful. He's got a best of 47.72 set this year. Mustn't discount him. And Isa Phillips of Jamaica, drawn on the outside. 48.05 his personal best. So, Sean Jackson in the seeded lane, lane 4. Angelo Taylor out in lane 6. But this is Sean Jackson, diminutive figure, has to modify more than most. He's very, very quick on the flat. So Yates, Tinsley, Gordon, Jackson, Sanchez, Taylor, Coulson and Phillips. The men's 400. Sean, one in Doha, second in New York, one in Lausanne, 47.62, and one in Monaco, 47.78. So he's tough. And watch Angelo Taylor, the American. He's got a best of just outside 44 flat for flat 400. He's a double Olympic champion. Season's best of 47.79 for him. That's Isa Phillips out in the 8th lane.
Set. Stand up.
Well, now then, the new rule. If there is a false start, then someone will be eliminated.
Chantier low then. First attempt at 197. Had a little hiccup there at 194. Should clear this okay, and she does. By a big, big margin. Yes, lovely jump from the American. And the clashes between her and Vlasic have been one of the highlights of the season. It really has been good to see. Below that, staying in the competition very, very comfortably indeed.
Well, Felix Sanchez, a former Olympic champion, has been disqualified. The false start down to him, and that is a real shame. So the 5th lane empty. So Yates, Tinsley, Gordon, Jackson, Taylor, Coulson and Phillips. Just a little look at that. Again, happens to the best. The new rule being enforced diligently here.
Set.
Well, away this time, difficult for Sean Jackson to judge his progress thus far. Not a lot in it as they go into the first hurdle. I tell you, Coulson is probably in the lead down the back straight, chased by Angelo Taylor as they approach 150, now approaching 200 metres. Angelo Taylor has been running very, very quickly over the first 200 metres, and he's done that again here. But Sean Jackson's a lot of work to do, but he is a very fast finisher and has a more evenly paced race. That's Coulson in the light blue, Angelo Taylor, the big fella, and here comes Sean Jackson on the inside, attacking the hurdle between 2 and 3. He's caught up the difference. Look at this. And once again, Sean Jackson catches out Angelo Taylor. Coulson going very strong as well. Taylor all over the place. Sean Jackson coming away brilliantly with this. And Coulson coming through into 2nd place. Jackson, look at the time on this, 47.65. And Coulson in 2nd place. And that was a dominant piece of running. It was very much a Very much an even-paced race by Bashorn Jackson. And I tell you what, he really is a class act at the best of times, isn't he? Bashorn Jackson.
Well, that's a new meeting record from Jackson. Fabulous, the first of the evening. They don't come too often here in this stadium, which has seen so many wonderful performances over the years. 83 world records, don't let's forget. But Jackson there, judging that one to perfection, Stuart, winning it by a monstrous margin against a strong field. What Angelo Taylor was thinking of around 200 metres, I do not know. He exploded for about a 100-metre stretch and then was treading water and all over the place, as you pointed out. Very, very untidy down the home straight. Bashorn Jackson, despite that empty lane outside him with Felix Sanchez's disqualification, really, really powerful off the final barrier. Didn't take it too well, clipped it quite hard. But 47.65. That time, Bashorn Jackson has been confirmed as a new meeting record. Fabulous running, and don't often see him win by that margin.
Emegren. A high jump now. 1 metre 97. Second attempt. Remember, 2:01 in the European Championships. No, she's been there before. No, that's another failure, as you can see. So that's 2 failures at 197 for Emegren. Just 2 women clear, Vlasic and Lowe.
Well, of course, Stuart, that high jump was on the last day of those European Championships, and I just wonder whether or not the fatigue is still a little bit more in the legs and the mind of Emegren than for some athletes whose championships were completed through the middle of last week. Here's that Jackson surge again towards the finish line. How powerful is he driving for the line there? Every sinew straining, dips at the line. He's really gone for the quick time there. Virtually the smallest man in the field, but winning it by a huge margin.
There's confirmation of the result. 47.65 for Bashorn Jackson, meeting record, as we've said. 48.50 for Coulson and 49.57 for Angelo Taylor. And there you have the times for those following. Jackson, Coulson and Taylor. That converts to points, and Jackson now leading with 16. Way, way ahead of the rest. Remember, it's a 7-event series.
Well, the next event on the track is the men's 100 metres final. That'll be followed by the 1,500 metres for women. Very, very high caliber field, that one promises. And after that, hurdles final for women, 200 metres for women and the 5,000 for men to conclude the evening, where the world's fastest time is being targeted.
Well, that's a critical jump, isn't it, for Emegren? It's the third and final attempt at 197 to join Blanka Vlasic and Chantillo. The home crowd involved as well she might, and it is a very, it's absolutely packed here in the Olympic Stadium. The stadium's going to be refurbished next year. $10 million set aside for that. European silver medalist. Now then, big test. A little bit away from, too far away from the bar there, dropped in high point just a little bit early. So she's gone. But she is in third place with just 2 left in the competition now.
Well, that's disappointing for Gren. I guess this meeting has come a few days too soon for her to really recover and refocus after Barcelona. So she has my sympathy. But we do have the big 2 still in there, as you would expect. And there's another big man. And Stuart, he was under some pressure, wasn't he? In those European Championships, he really was pushed all the way.
Well, this fella's lost his form. Pitkamaki, a 90-metre thrower, said he was working on the elevation of his actual attack on the javelin, and it certainly hasn't worked for him thus far. He is a 90-meter thrower. He's a very fine competitor, former world champion, of course. But really, he does need to get back into the event with a vengeance. World champion in 2007. He was 5th in Berlin. It started to go wrong there. These two have battled against each other time and time again. So Pitkämäki. And that's way short of 80 meters, and he must wonder what on earth's happened in his world. Hits it very hard, doesn't get the point, drifts away a little bit and it stalls a little bit, and I think the end result underlines that fact. It's a technical problem, clearly. 3rd place, though, 77.39.
Well, he did respond well last week. He finished up in 3rd place in Barcelona, but was under some pressure early on, and yet produced an 86-meter throw in Barcelona. This is the find of the season, Stuart, I suppose, in some respects. Matthias de Zordo of Germany. I must admit, I'd hardly heard of him before for the European Championships, and yet this left-hander almost surprised Thorkildsen, made the Norwegian really stretch for victory. Well, what can he do here? Back in Scandinavia, almost the home ground of the double Olympic champion. Can he shock Thorkildsen? The Norwegian yet to throw, last in the throwing order. From this relatively big field, 12 throwers. Pitkämäki, 77 from him. Indicative, really, of his relative lack of consistency this year.
Tension on the small of the back as they arch backwards to depart this javelin, this 800-gram javelin, and hence the weightlifting belt to give that extra support.
He's got plenty of support, hasn't he? So, the German, the silver medalist last week, what can he do here? Very, very quick arm for a big man. And that one's useful. That may take the lead. I'm always a little dubious about some of those superimposed lines across the sector, because they can be out by a little way, but that's big from de Zordo. Great opener.
Yeah, I thought he almost tripped there. His heels clicked together. I'll have a look and see whether that happens next time. Just over 80. And his 87.81 is best.
81.57 for de Zordo in the first round. They will have 6 rounds, the throwers, whereas in the horizontal jumps here, for example, only 4 rounds.
2 left in the high jump. Marko Vlasic attempting 2 meters for the first time. All clear, 185, 190, 194, 197 thus far. Very tall. 6 feet 4 in old money. Well, actually, that's going to be possible because he just clipped that on the way up.
Teddy Tamgo in this triple jump. Tamgo, second round, opened with a 17.23, and that's bigger from the Frenchman. Not by much. It's still nowhere near what we've seen him stretch out to this year. Look, he's giving away a lot of ground on the board, is Tamgo. 17.98, remember, in New York. That one coming down at 17.36 to take the lead by 4 centimeters from Olsen. Olsen smiling away there, I'm sure, just delighted to be back out competing.
Andreas Thorkildsen, European champion now. What can he do? To beat de Zordo's 81.57. And that, while it's, yes, it is over that superimposed line, so it looks as though it is a leading throw. It looks to be around about 82 meters, probably a little bit further. He really whacks that one, doesn't he? You can tell by his body language that he's not happy. He's not happy unless he gets somewhere out 86, 87. They like like a wind drifting just slightly over the shoulder for the right-hander, over the right shoulder. It's absolutely still here. Beautiful evening. 82.29, that is the lead. Usain Bolt. The event, the man. They've all waited to see him. Much celebration at his warm-up.
So one failure for Chanté Lowe in this high jump competition. One failure, remember, for Blanka Vlasic. Now, can she throw the gauntlet back at the Croatian second time? 2 meters exactly. Oh, lovely jump. She generates so much speed in her approach. It looks initially like she's taken off too far from the bar, but she creates an enormously long, high arc. Here it is again. Lots and lots of speed. That's what makes her such a good long jumper.
Blanka Vlasic then. Oh, just tapped it, but she's clear. And that's 2 meters. So 2 athletes clear at 2 meters. Both took 2 attempts.
Yeah, it's measuring up, isn't it, to another wonderful contest between these two. Shane Gren couldn't produce that 2 meter plus form, but both of them over 2 meters the second attempt. Identical cards.
The final of the men's 100 meters. Edwards of the United States, Paget, the United States, the 2 fastest qualifiers. Thompson, Trinidad, Bolt, Jamaica, Gay, USA, Kimmins, USA, Forsyth, Jamaica, Rogers, USA. Usain Bolt, just outside 10 seconds in qualifying for this final. Conditions are perfect. He hasn't had the races. He's avoiding bends because of the injury that he had. And it was very difficult to tell or to learn much from his qualification. 2 entirely different types of qualification. Tyson Gay will be in the next lane to him. You've got a glimpse of him there. Bolt, much bigger. They've only met twice before in their careers over 100 meters, and Bolt has won them both. Tyson Gay is taking his time. 2 different characters in every sense. Tall, powerful, knows this is a business end. Little nervous glance from Tyson Gay, a little chat, little contact. The mind games have started. Tyson Gay on the left of your shot. The American champion, world silver medalist at 9.71. Chasing the 9.58 of the big man, Usain Bolt, in Berlin last year. This is the biggest race since then. And just watch and wait for the introductions to the 2 principals in particular. Nervous moments. They all have their own way of preparing for a race of this kind. World record holder, Olympic champion, world champion, 3 Olympic medals. Ray Edwards qualified as the fastest loser. Best of 10 seconds dead. Travis Paget, 10.1, this season's best. Windy 9.92. Richard Thompson, the Trinidadian. Second in Oslo, windy 9.90. He's quick. A terrific atmosphere. The 2 have finally come together. Trell Kimmins, 10.09. 9.92 in New York, wind assisted. Mario Forsyth, 10.09 set this year. The diminutive figure of Mike Rogers. World Championship semi-finalist, World Indoor silver medalist this year over 60 metres. He's the starter. Now then. Edwards, Paget, Thompson, Bolt, Gay, Kimmins, Forsyth, Rogers. The men's 100 metres final.
Stand up, please.
The starter asking them to stand.
Well, I'm not sure, Stuart, if there was any noise yet.
Rogers. Meeting record, 9.86, held by Asafa Powell. Had to withdraw from this race with an injury. There's a hand up from Forsyth from this side. Is obviously... No, he has to have a reason for that. The showman through and through. If there's no reason, then you can't get disqualifications. They have to have a reason, but they are close to the crowd, and they can say, OK, it's noisy. But the crowd very, very quiet. Could be a camera clicking. This is a big, big event. A big moment for Bolt and Gay. The psychological battle is bigger. So once again, Edwards, Paget, Thompson, Bolt, Gay, Kimmins, Forsyth and Rogers. The men's 100 metres. The crowd still.
Will be automatically disqualified from the race. Edwards, Paget, Thompson, Bolt in 4, Gay in 5, Kimmins, Forsyth and Rogers. They tried for a third time, and now they're on their blocks. So this long-awaited showdown, the first one for a year between the men ranked 1 and 2 in the history of the men's 100 metres. Here now, the final in Stockholm.
Set.
Away this time, and Bolt gets away well, so does Gay on the near side. Kimmins going well, and Gay and Bolt's got a lot of work to do, and Tyson Gay's going to take him this time. Gay wins, Bolt in second at 9.83, a new meeting record. The first time that Usain Bolt has been beaten by Tyson Gay, and that was a terrific run. Bolt didn't get away well. There were some question marks in the qualification. It was very difficult to say what sort of condition he was in. 9.84 is the time, and Usain Bolt 9.97, a time for mere mortals. But Tyson Gay, a brilliant, brilliant run. He's had his injury problems too. But my goodness me, powered his way through. What a race.
Well, and I think the difference was that Gay was more hungry for it. Bolt is so relaxed, and maybe these races don't matter enough to the Jamaican. They do to the American, and look at that 1.5 metre margin. OK, Bolt was easing up from 10 metres out, but when you think his world record is 9.58, would have put him 3 metres ahead of Gay just there. It really does show how below par he performed there, Stuart. And I wonder just how much that mid-season injury has affected him. Remember, over 300 metres, he got a slight calf niggle back in late May in Ostrava, and he's been playing catch-up ever since then, whereas Gay has been getting better and better.
Yeah, Gay's had his injuries too, though. He's had the problem of getting himself mentally ready. He was more positive in his qualification. Look at the grimace on Bolt's face. He knows he's in trouble. And the point you make, he is short of racing. There's absolutely no... You don't become a bad athlete He's had his injury, and you don't become a bad athlete as a result. He hasn't had enough races to come back, and that was a big, big win for Tyson Gay.
Well, I have a feeling that might be just the jolt that Bolt needs, the jolt for Bolt, because he's been beaten quite comprehensively there. It wasn't even close, was it? And while it was emphasised by his easing up, Tyson Gay was much the better athlete tonight. Much, much sharper. Look at the cadence there. And Bolt just looked sluggish, didn't he, by his standards? There wasn't the same acceleration there around halfway. And the longer stride through to the finish that normally carries him well clear of the opposition. Tyson Gay can be very, very pleased with that, and I suspect Bolt will come out a different man the next time they meet, and not quite so jovial and relaxed.
The evidence: Tyson Gay 9.84, meeting record. Usain Bolt 9.97. Richard Thompson took the third place, 10.10. The race we wanted, the race we got, and Tyson Gay prevailed. Well, there are the points. Asafa Powell, 10. Not here tonight. He's run more races. Thompson in second place in the Diamond League race.
Well, 9.97. I suspect Asafa Powell wishing that he had been there for that. We go to the pole vault now. Silke Spiegelberg came in at 4.41. Here she goes, first attempt at 4.61 for the German. Vaulted well in those European Championships, declared herself slightly unsatisfied with that silver medal from Barcelona, but that's a lovely clearance. First athlete clear, and she's up here against Feofanova. The European gold medalist, of course, in Barcelona, 8 years after taking the title in Munich. It was in 2002, the pre-Isinbayeva era, I suppose. And we might well be in the mid-Isinbayeva era at the moment, but the Russian world record holder sitting this season out, having a break, coming back in February, we understand. Well, I'll tell you what, I bet if Powell was watching that one, wishing he could have been in it, seeing Usain Bolt looking very vulnerable. Who's going to be vulnerable in this one? There can only be one winner, and it's a very, very hard race to call, this women's 1,500 metres. Strong field. It includes the Olympic champion, the world champion, and 3 or 4 athletes who performed perfectly well in Barcelona last week, including 2 Britons, Steph Twell and Hannah England, both of them finalists.
Well, the triple jump still in progress, as you can see. Christian Olsen then in second place. 2 pretty good jumps. He's been out with injury. Again, third round then. Good control on that one. Got the white flag. He's putting together quite a good series, and I guess off the top of the series we might expect just one. There are only 4 jumps, 4 rounds in the triple jump, and as in the long jump earlier on, they do not reverse the order after the first 3 rounds, so they're all going in the same order throughout the competition. There it is, 17-14.
Big field over on the far side of the track, no less than 16 athletes for this women's 1,500 metres. There is Galette Burka. Burka, an athlete who can finish with the best of them. 3:58 athlete, and her best 3:59 this year. One of 6 women that have broken the 4-minute barrier this year. Nancy Langat, the Olympic champion, incidentally, is not amongst them. So close to 4 minutes on a number of occasions, but never there. Alminova. The fastest in the world is Anna Alminova. Won in Paris 3 weeks ago with a very, very quick time, but underperformed in Barcelona, finishing in just 6th place. And she's one of 2 Russians in this field who really were disappointing. Yevdokimova, the other, she went out in the heats in Barcelona, despite having run 3:57. Away they go, the young Hannah England of Great Britain, who was 10th in that European Championship final. Coached by Bud Baldaro, back in about 10th or 12th place at the moment. It's very, very quick, this opening section. Burka has gone to the front there. And the pace promises to be fast. We're expecting something around 63, 64 seconds for the first 400 metres, which will play into the hands, surely, of Alminova if she can find her pre-European Championship form. Well, this is Tverdostup of Ukraine who leads at the moment. Alminova in second place. Jamal, twice world champion, or the reigning world champion, in third place there in the white vest. Burka there almost going down and easing herself through there pretty quickly up to fifth or sixth place. She's recovered very quickly and accelerated through, and I think might pay for that. Generally, it's better to ease your way back into the race rather than to sprint like mad for a couple of hundred metres. Coming to 400 metres, and this looks quick.
Well, back to the high jump, the final stages. Look at that, 2 attempts at 2 metres for Vlasic. Now a second attempt at 2:02. She's leading the competition. The European champion. Faltered in the Olympics. But always there or thereabout. 2 world titles. 1 European champion. It's a brilliant clearance, absolutely brilliant. 2:02, and on that evidence, there's more.
Well, Tverdostup taking them round towards the 700 metres. They went through 464.3, so more or less 64 seconds for the leaders, and that's a good pace, 4-minute pace. Nancy Langat, the Olympic champion, is in third place in the orange vest, and right behind her, the world champion, Jamal from Bahrain, twice world champion, who frankly over 1,500 metres this year has been very disappointing. The Bahrainian ran a strong 3,000 in Monaco not long ago, that about 3 weeks ago, but 2:10 at 800 metres, that's a significant slowing, a 66-second second circuit of this Olympic Stadium in Stockholm. Alminova at the moment being allowed to dictate things to some extent, or at least have that extra metre on the rest of the field. Tverdostup will move aside soon, I'm sure. Alminova moving up on the outside of her. Langat on the inside in the blue shorts and orange top. Birkenau's moved into third. Jamal in fourth or fifth in white on the inside. Twell has moved up well. She's having a good race here. Steph Twell of Great Britain in fifth or sixth place. She's really going for it here. Declared herself delighted with her run last week, 4:02 for 1,500 metres at those European Championships to finish Steph Twell in seventh place. They meet the bell there. 3 minutes and exactly at the bell. Maybe a shade inside 3 minutes. It's going to be very quick, this one. And they're queuing up behind Alminova with 300 to go. Langat, the Olympic champion. Could this be the night? She at last breaks 4 minutes through 1,200 metres there. And it's slow there, 3:15, a 65 lap there. They really haven't picked it up through the middle of this race. They've dawdled a little bit. I'm quite surprised, but Alminova out in front. We know she's in wonderful form. When she ran that to 3:57 in Paris 3 weeks ago, it was her third race in 3 days, and that's a big surge from Langat there. 200 metres to run, and the Olympic champion leads. Alminova, the Russian, who's a 1:57 800 metre run. She's a quick finisher, unable to go with this at the moment, but it's Jamal is way out of it, back in about 8th place at the moment. Langat leads into the straight by 3 or 4 metres, and this is a wonderful run from Nancy Langat. Can the Olympic champion, who's been so close to 4 minutes, just outside in Lausanne recently for third place, she's going to win here tonight, and watch the clock. It's Langat from Alminova. Big surge there through from third and fourth place, but Langat wins it just outside 4 minutes yet again. It's so elusive. Belletti there taking the third spot. Good running from Belletti. Nancy Langat, well, she'll be delighted with that win, but Mimi Belletti of Bahrain coming through to almost outsprint Alminova. Look at the chasing groups there. There'll be some great place times here yet again, but Langat has the legs. All she needs is to get into a race race. She really goes with a quick tempo early on. Alminova second, Belletti third. And let's have a look at those place times. Well, still waiting for them to come through, but tell you what, you have to feel for Nancy Langat. She won the African Championships just a week ago. She's probably a little tired from that. It was only 4:10, but that was at altitude. There's Burka going down. It was quite a heavy fall. I thought it was a stumble initially. She got a heck of a bang, scrapes that left knee, gets up and does so well to get back into the race. It was crowded. They were moving pretty quickly, but a 16-athlete field, well, some might question whether or not that's just creeping 2 or 3 athletes into too many. very strong field. That was almost a World Championship final field, that one. And then Nancy Langat handing them a very, very comfortable defeat. One forgets that she was a World Junior 800 champion.
Well, you can see for yourself the two failures of 202 for Chantillo. She desperately needs this to stay in. No, drifted. And she's second again in each of the competitions in the Diamond League series this year. She's come second to Wanda. They've totally dominated the two. Remember, she set an American record 205 this season. She has come of age, 690 plus long jumper too. Very, very talented. There you go. And another European champion wins here.
Well, Tyson Gay has just presented with his diamond for setting a new stadium record on the infield. The hurdles going up in the straight.
Rafia Farnova in the pole vault, second attempt at 461. Spiegelberg dominating at the moment. Rafia Farnova, world champion back in 2003. Was overshadowed by Isambayeva. Yep. So she stays in the competition. She's in second place then. The second time clearance at 461. Spiegelberg got it first time. We've no idea what's happened to Isambayeva. We really haven't. Well, Fabiana Mura is next up in the vault. World Indoor Champion. She's leading the Diamond League at the moment. Oh, no! Well, that's gone out at 461. Her personal best is 485, set in June this year. She's had 3 wins in the Diamond League this season, so that'll be pretty disappointing for her. So the coaches and onlookers won't be at all encouraged by that performance. The conditions absolutely perfect for the field events. Javelin perhaps a little bit more breeze in here, but then that would have been against the other events.
It is Vlasic at 204, and this well within her capability, but not on that effort anyway. And we've talked in the past, Stuart, about whether or not we think she competes too often, Vlasic. Certainly this year she doesn't look to be anywhere near the sort of form that could threaten the world record, as she has done in 2 out of the last 3 years or so. But she just needs a renewed hunger, I think, for that world record. The trouble is she's got her hands full with beating the likes of Chantillo at the moment.
Yeah, she has. In fact, I commentated on that world record, Konstantinova, Bulgaria, back in 1987. And that record really does need to go. And the point you've made already, Vlasic has attempted it several times. But it's still not possible for her.
Well, you can see the flags there, top of your picture, blowing up around the rim of the stadium, very, very likely. It's a glorious evening. It certainly has cooled significantly. A warm, warm day here in Stockholm, around 25, 26 degrees in the middle of the day and quite humid. The lineup for the women's 100-meter hurdles then. Lolo Jones, the world #1, going in lane 3. Looked very impressive in qualifying, winning her heat an hour and a half ago in 12:78. But Felicienne and Lopez Schleek, the 2 Canadians amongst those who will try to wrestle control from her. She's had a wonderful Diamond League season as Lolo Jones, winning 5 out of 6 of the Diamond League events in this particular discipline so far. Look 2 for Sally Pearson in lane 7. She made good progress in the heats an hour and a half ago, improving her season's best to 12:70. She is, of course, the Olympic silver medalist from Beijing, second to left there, the Australian.
Well, Christian Olsen once again in this triple jump. He's got 17:36 to beat. He's had a 17:32. I just wonder It's just Tamgo to go, so this has got to be it. It's the final round, it's the fourth round, so his last jump to get those extra centimetres. Tamgo in the background there on the right of your shot, as you can see. Lovely way accelerated into the board. Lost a little bit on the middle phase there. He really accelerated into the board, so he's going to stay in second place, and Tamgo is going to be the winner. Yeah, grimace there. So Christian Olsen, 17.32, with 3 jumps over 17 metres. The other day he got it, the series, the last one a no jump.
Well, back to this women's 100-metre hurdles. All these women have negotiated, these 8 ladies have negotiated the heats already. And there aren't too many athletes missing from this lineup. Although the season's European find, Nevin Yanit of Turkey, who took that European title last week in Barcelona, is amongst the absentees. Yevgenia Sniho of Ukraine. Well, 5th last week in those European Championships. Winner of the European Cup a couple of years ago in Annecy set her personal best of 12.81. 12.82, her season's best. She goes in 1. Danielle Carruthers in lane 2 will have to improve a lot here, the American 30-year-old, on her performance in the heats. She's had a good season, but didn't look too special, it has to be said. Finishing in 4th and getting through as the fastest loser in 12.83. Lolo Jones, well, very consistent, the American. She's the American champion, the world #1. She won her heat in 12.78 into her headwind and starts as favourite, surely. Kaditsa Felician of Canada goes in lane 4. Second in her heat to Jones. She's had a busy season. Recently won the national championships in Toronto. That was just a week ago in 12.7. Queen Harrison goes in lane 5. The world #5 this year, 12.70 in her heat, but 12.61 in the Penton Relays back in April is her season's best. Priscilla Lopez-Schleep, the other of the 2 very powerfully built Canadians, winner in Lausanne, the silver medalist from the World Championships last year, and she too won her heat earlier on this evening. Sally Pearson of Australia, formerly McClellan, that was the name she had when she took the Olympic silver medal in 2008. Improving all the time, coming back after a quiet year last year. 12.70 in her heat here tonight. And Vonette Dixon completes the lineup in lane 8 there. 3rd in her heat in 12.90. Her season's best, 12.75, was in New York, some 6 weeks or so ago. Well, Sally Pearson in lane 7 went back to Australia in the last few weeks and raced on the Gold Coast. But she's also, either side of that, come 2nd in New York and 3rd in Monaco and is improving with each race. Lolo Jones, well, she wasn't the quickest in qualifying here tonight. That was Lopez-Schleep, who won the 2nd heat in 12.66 in still air, whereas, to be fair, Lolo Jones took the 1st heat into a -0.7 headwind. Fastest time in the world this year, 12.55 by Jones. That was her win in New York. The lineup from the far side, Sniho of Ukraine in 1, Carruthers USA 2, Jones in 3, Felicien 4, Harrison 5, Lopez-Schleep 6, Pearson 7, Dixon in lane 8. Well, away first time, good start from Lolo Jones. Also going well in the middle of picture is Lopez-Schleep in lane 6. And coming through is Harrison 2. Here comes Lolo Jones, though. Lolo Jones on the near side. Pearson having a marvellous run. Pearson's going to take it on the near side from Lopez-Schleep. And I think Jones might have taken 3rd place, but almost unnoticed there up against the railings on the left-hand side. Sally Pearson comes through, 12.57. I said watch her, she's improving with every race. My word, what an evening she's had. 12.70 in her heat an hour and a half ago. 12.57 there, and that is very, very close to a personal best from last year. 12.50 last year, and she has just there taken the best in the world, the Canadians, the Americans, everything they could throw at her, to quite a comfortable victory, in fact, from Sally Pearson. She's got away very strongly, Stuart.
Yeah, the second half of the race was very tough. Great speed of lead leg coming off a trail leg, which was very, very effective. Have a look, left and short. She was by no means up there early on in the race. Lolo Jones, as always, is up there. But then Lopez-Schleep going very strongly, ties up a little bit as Pearson starts to go away. Look how beautifully she is down the middle of the hurdle too. Brilliant run. Technically, very, very sound indeed. The Olympic silver medalist showing some real form again now. She's beaten a very, very strong field. In fact, there isn't a better one. That was brilliant.
Well, I think outside of her Olympic silver medal, that's one of the biggest wins of Sally Pearson's career. She can't believe it. And she really is back in amongst the thick of it now. 12:57. That winning time is confirmed. The season's best ahead of Lopez Schleep and Lolo Jones. And I tell you what, only Jones and Lopez Schleep, who finished behind her, have run quicker this year.
Well, the high jump bar is now at 2 meters and 4. Blanka Vlasic is to take a third attempt at it in the knowledge that she's won the competition with the second time clearance at 2 meters and 2. As Chantillo had 3 failures at 202, so she was second at 2 meters. So the European champion looking just to get a little bit closer to the personal best, which is 2:08. Set in 2009. Coaches are nervous. The athletes are nervous. Look at the rehearsal. You see how I was tracing the pathway to the bar. Very wide approach. Not as fast as some. No. A little bit tired on that one, but nevertheless, he's taken the competition and got maximum points again. There's no one going to beat her in the high jump over the series, the 7-event series. That's another win. She's won them all. Another little look at that. Doesn't quite get the elevation she wanted, but that was a little bit tired. And another good performance. So Blanka Vlasic takes the high jump, the second time clearance at 2 meters and 2.
Well, Sally Pearson running the legs off the opposition with that win in the 100-meter hurdles. She looks truly shocked. 12:57 the winning time and a season's best for the Australian to win the hurdles there. Sally Pearson, Lopez Schleep in second, Lolo Jones in third. And that is a victory for Sally Pearson that will probably remain the best of her summer. 4 points for her, of course, 2 for Lopez Schleep, and Lolo Jones will take 1 point in the Samsung Diamond League scoring system. And overall, I'm sure we'll see Lolo Jones way out in front still. Yes, 13 points from Lopez Schleep's 10. Pearson there with 4 tonight, her first score so far this year. Well, Andreas Thorkildsen in this javelin. We've only had 3 rounds. We're at the halfway stage. His opener is his best so far, 82.29. De Zordo, 81.57. The German with the very Spanish name. The name looks a little out of place, frankly, in the Montjuic Olympic Stadium in Barcelona, of all places. Confirmation of the win for Nancy Jebet-Langat, winning easily over Almina of Russia and Mima Bolete of Bahrain. Just outside 4 minutes again, frustratingly, for the Olympic champion. But the place times look very quick indeed. Steph 12, 4:04 in 9th place. Hannah England, well, a rather tired looking 4:07, although she was affected by that fall of Burka, as were several other athletes at the back of the field early on.
The pole vault. Final attempt. Silke Spiegelberg. 471. Needs this. I had to work a little bit at the top of the pole there. It was lost early on in that vault. It was a real effort to get something out of the pole at the top. But she's in second and finishes second. Well, there's the lineup for the women's 200 meters. Monica Hargrove of the United States drawn in lane 1. Fedoreva of Russia in 2. Bianca Knight, America in 3. Connie Moore, USA in 4. Alison Felix, USA 5. Shalonda Solomon of USA in 6. Shema Shanskaya of Russia in 7. And Ferguson McKenzie of Bahamas in lane 8. Well, Monica Hargrove, best of 23.17. It's a very, very tight bend, this. Whoever gets the inside lane in this stadium has got difficulty to start with. Fourth in the American Nationals this year. Federiva, she's a 100-meter hurdler as well. Third in the European Championships, though, 22.44. Bianca Knight in the third lane. 22.71 in Gateshead. Connie Moore, 22.40 her best. Well, here's Alison Felix, 6 world titles, mainly over 200 meters this event. She's a very fine 400-meter runner as well. Shalonda Solomon of the United States, second in the American Championships in 22.47. It's her season's best. Chemyshenskaya of Russia, Olympic semi-finalist in Beijing. And Debbie Ferguson-McKenzie of Bahamas, World Championship bronze medalist in Berlin last year at this event. Been there or thereabouts for many years. He has a national record, she set, in 1999 at 22.19. Hargrove, Federiva, Knight, Felix, Solomon, Chemyshenskaya, Ferguson-McKenzie.
Ni som var här minns ju det loppet som en absolut höjdpunkt på fjolårets DM-gala. 21.88 i liten kvällskila på Stockholms stad.
Set.
Well, Moore got a very poor start indeed, and Knight's already up on her. Felix going very strongly up on Solomon. Solomon really having a good bend, but here comes Alison Felix on the bend. And in lane 3, Bianca Knight going very, very strongly indeed. Felix has got a lot of work to do. Bianca Knight is powerful indeed, and Felix being under pressure from Solomon. Bianca Knight and Felix. Lane, well, I tell you what, Alison Felix is some athlete. She really is a tough athlete. She's so strong in the final stages of a race, so difficult to beat. She was under pressure coming off the bend, but my goodness me, in the final stages, just surges through. I mean, that shows she's got terrific strength endurance as well. Gets away pretty well, but I tell you, Bianca Knight of the United States, the 21-year-old, was really flying around the bend, and it looked as though she was leading at this stage, as she was. The battle was between Solomon and Felix at this stage in the final, towards the end.
Well, Solomon going very strongly on the outside. They're battling the head rocking from side to side. Felix, poetry in motion, though, very, very smooth indeed. Uses all that strength of a 400-meter runner to ease through to the line there and hold her form well, Stuart. But let's not forget, she's run under 11 seconds too. She's a 10.8 100-meter sprinter. She's got everything that's needed to be really supreme at 200 meters. That's why she's 3 times world champion. But probably a bit closer than she expected, I have to say.
She certainly had to work for that. No question. 22.41. Solomon in second, Knight in third. Knight well, the season's best, incidentally. I'm not surprised, really, the way she ran that bend. Very, very powerful off the bend. But Felix is a champion in every sense.
Well, it's Svetlana Feofanova. Second time clearance at 4.61. Here she goes, third attempt at 4.71 here for the Russian. European champion last week. Oh, that's nice. Beautiful clearance from Feofanova. Yeah, she loves it. She's really enjoying herself in the absence, of course, of her compatriot Bisinbayeva. It's well known that they don't get on too well. But that from Feofanova. Very, very encouraging indeed. Good consistency she's hitting at the moment. Twice European champion now. And you have to admire her longevity, despite the onset of the Isinbayeva years and the total dominance of her compatriot over the last 4 or 5 seasons.
Well, this is the third round of the javelin. Well, Torkelson then looking to extend his lead if he can. He really hits it. Now just look, he moves away from the line, and you can tell that he's not entirely happy with that. It's okay, he says, and he's pretty relaxed about it. It's It's going to be probably his best throw thus far. He's a very fast arm, gets a good strong base. But you know, this event's all about timing, and if the timing's slightly out, and the elevation of that javelin's slightly out, he's quite happy with it within the conditions here. He's a very sociable fella. You meet him in the hotel, he'll sit down and chat, talk to you about all sorts of things.
Well, here's a replay of that finish from Felix. Look how calm she is. Might have caught a glimpse there of the athlete just to her right, the left of picture. That was Shalonda Solomon, straining to try and get one over on the supreme half-lap runner.
Well, there's the result of the 200 metres. Felix 22.41, Solomon 22.51, and Knight, season's best, 22.59 in third.
Well, just one event to come on the track now as we see Felix's 4 points to Solomon's 2 and Bianca Knight's 1. And of course, how does it rack up overall? Felix leading with 10 points from Veronica Campbell-Brown, who, remember, beat her in New York with 4 points, Campbell-Brown there, but she beat Felix in New York, although it was the Americans' first 200 of the year. One event to come, and that is the men's 5,000 metres.
Well, this is the end of the triple jump, the last attempt, the final jumper. Tango it is. Really does fly, doesn't he? And that is a very... Oh, he's got a red flag. He's got a red flag, and that was much, much better. I remember watching that New York attempt at 17.98, just 2 centimetres off the... But 17.36, he's got it. 17.36. Ahead of Olsen at 17.32. It was a very close competition in the end. There are the rest.
Well, the 5,000 metres, 12.5 laps of the track is the remaining track event here in Stockholm. Big, big field, 21 athletes out there. It's a field of the very highest calibre, with the likes of Kipchoge, Eliud Kipchoge, the world #1 this year, world champion back in 2003 in the field. Look out too for Kisorio, who was in such good form recently. 4th in the African Championships, 10,000 metres, under 28 minutes at altitude. Chris Zielinski, of course, that's a big name this year, the American who became the first non-African born athlete to break 27 minutes for 10,000 metres back in May. And he's also under 13 minutes this year for 5,000 metres, in very, very good form, Zielinski. A couple of other non-Africans to watch, Collis Birmingham in the Australian, and Galen Rupp of the USA as well, both of them on 13.10.
Just break off for a moment, Tim, to catch up with Svetlana Firfanova. First attempt at 4 metres and 86. Looked a little bit apprehensive coming into the plant. It was almost a hesitation, and that if you hesitate, then you're in real trouble. Still won the competition. She passed at 4.81. There's the evidence. That little horizontal line for newcomers, that's a pass, and that means that she goes on to the next height. Going out of a jumps competition, it's 3 consecutive failures that will take you out. They don't have to be at the same height.
Well, this field not only includes many great track athletes, but Joseph Abuya, who is the world cross-country champion this year. Watch him. Merger, well, he's had a series of wins on the circuit this year. The world #3. Only 5th in the African Championships, mind you, over 5,000 metres, where the Kenyans really did give the Ethiopians some beatings. Chepkok, world #2 this season, with that 2nd place in Doha, right at the beginning of this Diamond League series. Kipchoge, one of the fastest men in history, indeed. He's the 3rd fastest man, 4th fastest man in history, over 5,000 metres. Has a wonderful range too. The pace we're expecting to be laid down is very quick indeed. We're looking for around 7:40, 7:42 at 5,000, at 3,000 metres. That would be 12:50 pace. Away they go, that staggered start, which is obviously necessary with such a big field. But they need to be lapping here in around 61 seconds per lap from start to finish to get down towards 12:50. 61, 61.5 needs to be the average. Would have been nice to see Mo Farah, the double European champion at 5,000 and 10,000 metres from last week in Barcelona in this race, but I'm sure he's tired and recovering from his exertions in a long week in the sweltering heat of Barcelona. Conditions here tonight, I have to say, are just about as good as you will get. It's a cool Scandinavian evening, very, very little wind, probably about 17 degrees now, almost chilly actually. People around us putting on their coats and jumpers after a very warm day. The sun went down an hour or so ago, but this is definitely quick. Look at that. Single file virtually down the back straight in less than a lap. Gideon Gathimba and Suleiman Simotwo, the pacemakers. Gathimba there takes them through. This might even be a little bit too quick from Gathimba. He's gone through 400 metres there in around 58 seconds. The pack, I suspect, the middle of the pack in about 61, so maybe it's good from him, although that's a 6 or 7 metre gap back to second place. Doesn't really help anyone.
Kipchoge is the leader as we go into Pitkamaki, or the leader in the race proper. Pitkamaki. Who remembers Alcantara, the American javelin thrower in the past? He used to end up in a handstand position at the end, and that was 3/4 of the way through. World record held by Jan Zalesny. Wow. And he used to dive as well. Just over 80. Not a happy man at the moment. 4th place. Can't seem to challenge at the moment.
Well, coming up towards 800 metres over on the back straight, diagonally opposite us in this glorious 1912 Olympic Stadium. 800 metres there in about 2:02 from Gathimba. He's settled down a bit now, but look at the way they're stretched out there, single file. Even if you're at the back of that field, it would have gone through in around 2:06, 2:07. That's about 13:10 pace. So it's very, very good pacing indeed, this. And you won't get better conditions than this. There's plenty of evidence to suggest that distance runners actually perform at their optimum in slightly cold conditions, slightly cool conditions. Very often, too, quick times are produced in the rain even. 1,000 metres, 2:33.13. Well, that's okay. It's about 61.5 per lap, 62.7 that lap, bringing them to 1,000. That's a little bit of a concern because that is quite a lot slower. And in fact, back in the middle of the pack, there's a bit of bunching going on, as you can see. But down the back straight, Gathimba and his compatriot Simotwo, both of them Kenyans, will endeavour to take this field through to 3,000 metres. Kipchoge it is in 3rd place.
Just looking at the javelin competition, the final Desordo has made a pretty impact on this competition thus far. 81.57 in 2nd place. That was a no-throw. That was his 4th and final.
So Gathimba leads. Kipchoge in 3rd place behind the other pacemaker Simotwo. Yator just moves through into 3rd place around Kipchoge. Longasiwa in 4th, in 5th in the red shorts. Choge behind them in 6th in the blue, and they come through after a 60.8. Well, that's a shame because the previous lap was 62.7 and they've run a 60.8. That's a little bit of seesawing and it's not ideal. That's almost surging. It's certainly not the most economical way to run.
One of the athletes who's fared pretty well in 5,000 metre races this season is Merger. Now, Merger's about 8 from the back. He's not really taken account of the surges that you mentioned, but he's someone that will work his way up towards the front in the final stages of this race. He's always been there or thereabouts, and it gradually makes his way to the front as Torkelson takes his 4th and final throw. I'm just looking at that. Of course, it's not his 4th and final, it's his 5th round. They've got 6 rounds. The reason we were confused there is because they've got 4 rounds in the long jump and the triple and 6 in the javelin. So apologies for that. They're still doing battle. He's looking for 85 plus, clearly. A little shake of the head tells you that that's another 83.30. He's still the leader, though.
Well, into the back straight now. Chris Zielinski back in about 10th place at the moment in the green. The American Galen Rupp about 5 places further back, still moving well. They come up to 2,000 metres. Remember, 1,000 in 2:33. What's the pace at 2,000? 5:06.59. That's at 2:33 as well, but it wasn't a particularly evenly run 1,000, that second segment. So let's hope that they can settle down with a bit more rhythm now as they come around the top bend. There's a little bit of bunching. I just wonder whether or not they are, in fact, slowing again here, because coming into the straight.
Its final stages now. Second attempt at 486. We saw that was pretty well the same as the first one, and really accelerating into the plant. And of course, once that happens, then there's a real problem. She's got one more attempt at this. We'll see.
Well, there's a distinct bunching as they came down in front of us just now. You can see, what, about 15 athletes in that group, with towards the back of the group and running 2 abreast, and yet they are moving well. They're still on something like 7:45 pace, 7:43 pace. Simotwa is who's taken over the pacemaking duties. Gathimba's job done. Kipchoge looks very comfortable. He's a lovely athlete. I love seeing him chugging along. Very compact, good mover. He's got an incredible range, Kipchoge. 3:33 for 1,500 metres. That's him in second place. 26:49 for 10,000. There's very few people who can boast of a range like that, and in between that 12:46 from Rome. 6 years ago now. He's only 25, but 6 years ago he ran 12:46. Yes, when he was 19. Don't forget that he won the world title in Rome, in Paris the previous year when he was 18, over 5,000 metres. 6 laps to go, and a 64. Oh dear, oh dear. Mid-race, it's all gone awry, and it sort of undoes so much of the hard work in the early stages. Galen Rupp has moved right up to the back of them. Kisorio is there as well. Gebre Meskel is there too. And they really are close together. When you think that in the early laps they were stretched out single file, if you really don't press on with that pace, then you do lose the opportunity of a really quick time. And I suspect 12:50 is unlikely now. 3 kilometres, remember, we were looking for 7:40 or 7:42. Well, that's about 61.5 second pace, and they've just run a 64.5, so that's interesting. Just saw Kipchoge give Yator a little shove in the back. Yator there, the very compact little fella in blue in second place. Thomas Birmingham of Australia struggling to go with this tempo now as another acceleration goes in. And it's Simotwa who accelerates towards the line, moves wide and lets them race it out. Yator from Kipchoge now in 1 and 2. Right behind them, side by side, Longasiwa and Imbishi. Kiptu and Zielinski just towards the middle of that pack. But one does wonder when they're going to kick in any harder. They've gone through 3,000 metres now. And that time at 3,000, 7:45. 7:45.16. Murga has moved well. He's up to about 5th place at the moment. That 3,000 time clearly 4 or 5 seconds outside what was required. But it's nonetheless quick enough to give them a good time here tonight. Remember, the world's fastest time this year was set in the sweltering heat of Doha, way, way back. It seems a long time ago now, on the 10th of May, was it? And certainly 14th of May, in fact. They come down the straight now with a mile to run. It was at this point in Barcelona where Mo Farah unleashed that final 4 laps in 4 minutes exactly. But here, nobody really seems keen to take it on and commit. And it's a bit of a shame because we've got a great race in our hands, but when you're led to believe they're chasing quick times, you expect somebody to take on that burden through the middle third of the race and push on. It's still Yator from Kipchoge, but they really are just letting these middle laps click by before gathering themselves for the final surge over the last couple of laps, perhaps. Longasiwa looking strong at the moment. In the 3rd place, happy to run the shortest line. He's a 12:51 man at best, although he's only run 13:40 this year. It's fascinating when athletes don't come out. And who's that dropping back? It's Kipchoge, I think, dropping right back on the bend there. To a jog almost. No, Kipchoge is still there. It's Ebuya who dropped right back from the pack, quite dramatically. The world cross-country champion this year. Remember in Bydgoszcz in Poland. And they come down in front of us with 3 laps to run. Still, what, 10 or 11 men in there. Rupp just struggling to stay with his pace at the moment. Solinsky looking strong. Now, don't let's forget, when he ran that 26.59 10,000 back in May, his last 800 was 1:56. Solinsky more than capable on his day of matching the Africans.
Pitkamaki, 5th round, javelin. Down in, 4th place at the moment. Needs something much, much better than 80 metres, and that is better. That's certainly better. His best so far is 80 metres and 50. There was a real look of determination there. He really walloped that. And that was much, much better, and that has taken him into the lead. 84 metres and 41. And so Andreas Torkelson has a little bit to do, and all of a sudden, the former world champion has found a little bit of form.
Well, nobody found the urge to push the front. They've got 2 laps to run now in this 5,000 metres. Kipchoge just gets his nose back in front again. Merger in 2nd place has remained relatively anonymous to this point, has Merger. They're still not lapping quickly, are they? Closely bunched, what, 2, 4, 6, 8 men now away. And nobody is committed as yet. Although, as I say that, so Kipchoge just begins to lengthen his stride. Merger in 2nd place. Solinsky looking strong, going with this, almost chopping his stride there at the back of that group. Lap and a half to run. And Solinsky in 7th place. Now, how many of these Africans in front of him can he get past and finish in front of? Here he goes, Solinsky. Surge past 1, surge past 2, 3, into 4th place. Great running this from the American. Kipchoge out in front. Don't discount him, because he's more than capable of leading like this and then kicking away with that flourish that we're so familiar with. But Merger's been dangerous this season. He's had a really good series of runs with a big win in Oslo, don't let's forget, and in Rome as well. There it is at the bell, 61 to the bell. Solinsky still there. They go round the bend, the penultimate bend. Kipchoge, Merger, Kiptu, Solinsky. Gebremeskel there in 5th place and into the back straight. Kipchoge now still stretching them away. Very difficult tactic this, when somebody takes on the lead and then gradually turns the screw, gradually accelerates. You've got to put in a double acceleration to get past them, of course. Merger, though, is a master tactician too. The gap's beginning to appear there. Kiptu in 3rd place. Solinsky will have to drive really hard here through this last 150 to stay with the Africans, because Merger gathered himself on the shoulder of Kipchoge into the straight now. The teeth are gritted for Kipchoge. Eliud Kipchoge, the man who was world champion all of 7 years ago, hasn't got the legs tonight. He glances past at Kiptu, who strides through here, and is he going to get it, Kiptu? It's very tight at the line. Gebremeskel there finishing in 2nd place, I think. Very, very tight. 12:53 is just outside the world's fastest time, which was Kipchoge's in Doha, 12:51. All of what, 8 or 10 weeks ago, right at the beginning of this Sangsum Diamond League series. But what a run that was. Kiptu taking it. Kipchoge just didn't have the legs. Seemed to be the legs had gone. Look at this, he glances across it to say, how dare you. Solinsky had such a powerful run, but eventually back in 5th place. Kiptu very tight there with Merger. And I think Gebremeskel maybe taking 2nd place. Well, 12:53.46 for Mark Koskai Kiptu, to give him his full name, was indeed a personal best and victory. Merger a personal best as well in 2nd place, 12:53.56. The place times will be fabulous. Solinsky surely would have run a personal best in 5th.
Andreas Torkelson then back in 2nd place now, needs another big throw. Torkelson's gone ahead, doesn't look good. Body language not good, and the throw isn't quite so good either. And he knows now, that was his 5th round throw, he's got 1 left. Yes, just a little bit more needed. Well, 1 throw left, and the double Olympic champion finds himself in 2nd place, the European champion in 2nd place. He's very, very good competitor, though. We'll see.
Well, you have to say, all credit to Pitkamaki tonight for picking himself up after 3rd place last week, Stuart, and shocking the Norwegians. and one Norwegian in particular. Theofanova then in this vault.
And the height is interesting. It's 486. It's her third attempt. And the reason she's chosen this is that Isambayeva's meeting record is 585. And they're not that friendly.
Well, this would be one face. No, it's not to be. Meeting record stays safe at 485. But Theofanova winning tonight with 471 at the third attempt from Spiegelberg. He cleared 461 at the second attempt. Stay ahead of Fabiano Moura. Not a good evening for Moura, frankly. 3 failures at 461 after her clearance at 451. A very brief competition, in effect. 4 vaults for the Brazilian, only one of them good. Svetlana Theofanova has had a very good evening in her vertical event. And this, another vertical discipline. Blanka Vlasic, supreme once again. Shante Lowe's challenge knocked back by the Croat. 2:02 for Blanka Vlasic ahead of the American Shante Lowe, 2 meters exactly. Emegren tonight looking a little tired in third place with that 194 after her silver medal in Barcelona at the European Championships. Well, and Vlasic marches on. Look at that total. 20 points in the Diamond League standings. So Shante Lowe's 10. Spencer in third place, way back with 2 points.
The crowd sitting back, still some javelin throwing to go. And this is the part of the world where they love it so. But Theofanova's had a good day, winning this vault competition. There is the result. 471, Spiegelberg 461, Mura 451, well down today. Kate Dennison of Britain 441 in 7th, the British viewers, all the way down to 421. Well, there's the point situation. Theofanova closing in on Fabiana Mura. There's 5 points ahead with Spiegelberg in 3rd, Rogovska in 4th. Rogovska wasn't here today. But a very attentive crowd here. Very knowledgeable. And they do love their field events. They really do. And to see the shot put in the center of the city yesterday, it was a real exhibition event for them, which they thoroughly enjoyed. The feedback has been terrific. Some of these city center events now are taking hold. The javelin. Pitkämäki next to go. It's 6th and final round. The leader. We haven't said that for a while. Started with 77.39, then 76.90, no throw, 80.50, and then the 84.41. Now, on the basis of that, let's see if he can let one really fly now and get beyond the 85-meter mark. He really walloped that. I'm not sure from his body language that it's good, and I think there's the evidence. It's just down on the 80-meter mark. But he'll wait and see now. That's not as good. So his 5th round throw of 84.41 will be the one. Really attacked it. Timing out. It's such a fine art, this throwing of the javelin, 800 grams in weight. The design has changed many times. Once the javelin started to be thrown beyond 100 meters, which it was in Oslo, that became very dangerous, and so they moved the center of gravity of the javelin so that it came down a little earlier. And we'll see now, what can Matthias de Zordo do here? He is dangerous, there's no question about that. Silver medalist in the European Championships. He's got the credentials now. He's on the back of that confidence. Just 2 to go. De Zordo and Andreas Torkelson. It'll be a real test of the European champion and of this young fella who is silver medalist in Barcelona. He's had 3 throws over 83 meters this season. Personal best of 87.81. He knows it's there if he can get it right. Like so many, a former European junior champion. Really walloped that one. And that's around about 81.5. Not quite the throw that he wanted. His best throw so far, 81.57. In third place, very fast arm. Doesn't quite get the range of the Torkelsons of this world. But he's very powerful, different in stature, muscular. And there you go, 3 no throws. That last one recorded as a no throw. Now then, we've seen him in this situation before. He's proved himself. He's Olympic champion a couple of times. And he's got this last throw to finish this competition. Now then, Pitkämäki, 84.41. Torkelson, 83.63. Not enough. Needs a big one. Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. That is down, way, way down. And so Torkelson, for the first time for a long time, is beaten. And he's in second place. Another little look at that. But Pitkämäki is going to take it. Good competition, though.
Wasn't it just? Yeah, I'll tell you what, though. I know a lot of betting men would have put their money on Torkelson going beyond Pitkämäki's mark there. He's a wonderful athlete, great competitor in those sort of situations. But maybe the real hunger, the juices of competition were used up too much last week in Barcelona. Great men's 5,000 metres tonight. The place time's very quick indeed, as we'll see now with this. Mark Koskai-Kiptu, 12:53.46, setting a personal best there, along with Gebremescal and Merger in second and third, way below 13 minutes. Kipchoge, 12:54 in fourth. Chris Zielinski, a new personal best, 12:55.53, not far outside Bernard Lagat's US record of 12:54. And Augustin Choge, 8th place, 13:04. Wasn't the night for the Australian Collis Birmingham. He's a much better athlete than that, is Birmingham.
Well, it's been quite a night, hasn't it?
Well, it has. And Merger, who had another very good run tonight in what was just the last of a supreme series of races, leads the overall standings with 12 points to Bekele 6, Chepkot 6, and Kipchoge on 6, all of them in second place.
Well, we finished with a good javelin competition, but remember we had with Pitkämäki winning that at 84.41. Held off the European champion for a change, the former world champion. That'll give him a bit of encouragement because he's not had some good times just lately in competition. Way below par. Slowly but surely putting it right. But it's been the night of the European champions in a way, with Firova winning the 400 meters, Lewandowski winning the 800 meters, Zarodnieva the 3,000 meter steeplechase. They were the first 3 events, and we had 3 European champions winning. And Bashawn Jackson winning the 400 meter hurdles, 47.65. Janka Vlasic, of course, another European champion, winning the high jump. Nancy Lagat in the 1500, just outside 4 minutes. Still can't quite crack that 4-minute barrier. Sally Pearson, 12.57, the Australian in the 100 meter hurdles. Alison Felix, another victory in the 200 meters, 22.41. Federiva in the pole vault.
No prize for guessing whose picture will be on the front pages of Finnish papers tomorrow. Pitkämäki making it a very special night for him and his countrymen. How they love their javelin throwing over in Finland. The Diamond League, of course, will continue on its merry way. This is the 11th of the 14, and it has been a perfect night in Stockholm with a number of meeting records. And where there haven't been meeting records, Stuart, the quality of competition has been superb. Tero Pitkämäki, as I pointed out, winning here tonight. And that's a javelin distance for Pitkämäki. Just to confirm for you once more, 84.41 in round 5. He left it pretty late. winning by less than a metre from the double Olympic champion and European champion, of course, Andreas Thor-Kilsen's 83.63. Confirmation of the win for the Finn there from the Norwegian Andreas Thor-Kilsen. Pitkämäki getting that rare victory over the Norwegian Anders Ordo in third place. First three from the European Championships, taking the first three places here in Stockholm, but not in the order of Barcelona.
But I guess this, as this stadium empties now, there's the diamond race standings, incidentally, 18 for Thor-Kilsen, despite that defeat here tonight. Pitkämäki moves up with 4 more points to 8, with Friedrich at 4, and then Wikala behind him. And it's been a great night. I've mentioned the European successes, but of course, on the night, it was about Tyson Gay beating Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt looked human for a change. There are the winners for both the men and the women, and there were some very, very fine performances indeed. But Sean Jackson I mentioned, but Tyson Gay, they'll be the headlines tomorrow, 9.84, a meeting record. And there are the Diamond League points. Thor-Kilsen with 18 overall, Vlasic with 20, and Cantwell in the shot with 20. They're the 3 top scorers thus far. And it's been a very, very good season thus far, and still some way to go. There'll be a fireworks display here. And as this event now moves on to London, August the 13th, don't miss it. From Tim Hutchins and myself, Stuart Story, from the Olympic Stadium here in Stockholm, goodbye.